Welcome to the Life on Life's Terms, episode 22. It's Justin and Kenny in here today.
Woo!
We are your hosts. So yesterday, what came out? Part 2 of Kenny's bio.
Yeah, some nitty gritty stuff.
Yeah, it was some pretty deep shit.
Yeah, you know what? I left out a good story.
Yeah?
Yeah, it'll be quick.
Okay.
So, like, when I was 14, my stepdad went to Scotland, and then while he was away, I would take his car joyriding. He had this like little mint Dodge Spirit. It was cool. And it snowed this one day, and I took the car anyways. Like, I shoveled the walk so you couldn't see the tire prints. I took the car, and I never drove in snow before.
Oh yeah.
So I ended up I was driving way too fast, and I was going around this like Y intersection, and I slid into oncoming traffic, smashed head-on collision with a cube van, and I just like ran. I just fucking booked it. I got out of the car and I started running. I ran like 20 blocks, and then all of a sudden I had like this stroke of conscience, and I was like, I gotta go back. So I like waved down this family van, and I was like, you gotta drive me back. I crashed the car and I ran away from it. And they're like, you're not going to hurt us, are you? I was like, no. Like, I was only 14, right? But I was, like, hysterical. So they drive me back to this accident scene. They're like, oh, my God, God bless you, child. You're in trouble. And so I called my dad, and I was like, listen, I fucked up. I stole Bill's car. I smashed it. Cops are coming. And he's like, you're fucking dead. Where are you? So he actually, like, pulled a super solid, and he showed up, and he paid the guy in the cube van cash, and the cube van slid and hit a van, and he paid that guy cash, and he had a tow truck there, and we got the car towed out of there seconds before the fucking cops showed up. So he fucking totally saved my ass, but he's like, this is gonna hurt you so bad. So like, I was traumed out for that night. Like, I knew I was gonna get a beating. So he shows up the next day and he's like, make me a drink. I was like, oh fuck. At that time he was drinking like a 40-pounder a day. He was a serious alcoholic. So I make him this fucking really strong vodka orange juice, and he's like, great, vodka, the only thing that makes me violent. And I'm like, oh my God, and this is gonna be bad, like what's gonna happen? Then he's like, get out in the truck. We go to the truck, and he drives out of town, and then he like leans over the seat and looks at me. I was in the back seat, and he hands me this huge Rambo knife, like a 10-incher at least. He's like, go cut yourself a switch, boy. And I was like, what's a switch? And my brother was in the truck. He's like, it's a stick he's going to beat you with. I was like, oh, no. So I like trudged through the snow, and I went, and as I get up to this like willow bush, my brother yells from the truck, remember, the skinny ones bleed and the thick ones bruise. I was like, oh my God. So I picked a thick one. And then when I got home, I took duct tape and I cut off all the side branches. I wrapped it in duct tape like a hockey stick.
Yeah.
And it just made it heavier.
Yeah.
And fuck, did he beat me with that fucking stick? Yeah. So
That would suck.
I don't steal off family. That was like the last time I stole off family.
Even though it was your stepdad, he still respected that.
Yeah. Well, my stepdad's a stand-up guy, like 100%, like the biggest stand-up guy in the world. Mm-hmm. And since my dad was kind of in degen mode when it came to being a father, right? So he respected that.
That's cool.
Yeah. But that's my story that I missed out.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Real quick clarification. What is food?
Food is crack cocaine or cocaine.
In small chunks, right?
Small chunks. And you keep it in your mouth in case you're going to get pulled over. So then you would swallow it.
Or is it because they give you the food money for the crack?
Well, that and also it's like they put that shit over eating. So essentially it is food to them.
Yeah. Them. Listen to us. We were those kinds of degenerates at one time in our life.
Yeah.
Second one is, what's a bit?
A bit. It's a stretch in jail.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just clarification for people that are out there. You ever notice that when you use the vernacular of your old life, your mind, like your thinking mentality almost goes there? Like for instance, for me, I will not hang out with people who call women hoes anymore.
Oh, it hurts.
Yeah, and the reason for me is like my mind will go back to pimping mentality.
Yeah.
Right? Like instantaneously. Or if like even guys will call me quite a bit out of jail right now. Yeah. Right? I got a guy that I'm talking to, working with, I would say. and he'll start saying shit like
Goof.
on the outs.
On the outs, yeah.
Once I get on the outs, bro. And as soon as he starts saying that kind of stuff to me, I'm just like, yeah, well, the outs is not outs. Like, this is like permanent freedom if you decide, you know? He has a really hard time equating that he doesn't have to go back in there. So it's always on the outs, bro. On the outs.
Speaking of on the outs, there's this guy that I met when I was in, and he was so institutionalized. One of his favorite sayings was, fuck the outs.
Because he liked it inside.
Well, he just didn't want to get his hopes up.
Yeah. I think when you're doing like a
Substantial amount of time.
dead time. So like so that people understand what dead time is. Dead time is when you're in the no man zone or the no zone of
awaiting trial.
Yeah. So like, in my opinion, when you're in that place, your mentality almost becomes a lifer because you don't know when you're getting out, and essentially
You don't want to think about it.
Yeah, you don't want to think about it, and your brain has to go to a place where you're like, this is it.
Yeah, you just adapt to your lifestyles to avoid pain and stress.
Yeah, because every time that carrot gets dangled in front of your face and you're let down, it's
like 10,000 knives in the back.
Yeah, it's really, really rough, right? And some of the guards will even know that you're going through this. Like, we call it shaking it rough, right? In this geographical area. Other geographical areas in Canada, they call it other things. But in this context, shaking it rough is like you're only awake at night. You sleep all day long. You can't eat. I mean, anybody could literally see that you're shell shocked.
When you're in jail and your old lady cheats on you.
Oh, that's rough. Yeah.
Then you're shaking it rough.
Yeah, it fucking sucks. Yeah. Or you don't know if she is or not.
I don't say old lady anymore because it's very misogynistic.
Yeah.
I'm trying to change my vocabulary. But when I was in jail, it's always old lady.
And it's kind of a term of endearment.
Yeah.
To people in there, like that's what it is, because nobody would ever cheat on their old lady, but they definitely cheat on their girlfriend.
Snoop Dogg made a song about it.
Oh yeah.
You know my old lady.
Oh
Tell
yeah.
you what she do for me.
Yeah.
She move a quarter key.
Yeah. I mean, it is a term of endearment. I get it. Like we had suggested, changing your vernacular is also changing your state of mind. You know, and it took me a long time. Like I always used to say, motherfucker ratted me out.
Oh,
right?
So primitive.
Or he cheesed me out. Oh my God. Like just brought me, especially in my early recovery, it was pretty nuts. So
like right now I'm helping get guys out of jail on bail to go to treatment, and I'm answering the phone and I'm taking applications. So I'm talking to guys in jail, random guys in jail every day now. And I catch myself like, don't worry, bro, don't shake it rough.
Yeah.
We're going to get you out of there. And I try to encourage them, give them a little hope and faith.
Yeah. It's tough not to go back to that place in our minds, I think, because we were so institutionalized in the moment. What I have noticed though, because like I wouldn't say that I do the same thing in the moment right now, but when I am working with a guy in jail, I now won't break my vernacular.
Oh,
like at all. I won't go there. I won't do that. And I'll even express to the person I'm speaking to in there why I won't. Right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's just like we did with the listeners. It's easier for me to gain depth and weight through my experience of emotion. Going down to the level of talking in vernacular, like rat me out, cheese me out, don't shake it rough, all that stuff. Really what that's doing is it doesn't allow the person I'm talking to see that there is an actual change. Because I can gain their trust through talking about depth and weight by saying, I understand how shitty it is in there. I know it sucks behind bars. I've been behind that wall and haven't been able to see the road. I know how lonely it feels to be in a cell all by yourself. I know what it's like to wait for bail and feel like that there's no way out. I understand that. And by staying the course of the emotions and the feelings.
Now you are impeccable with your word. And to the person that you're talking to, they
it's almost like misery loves company too. Sometimes like they'll say, "Oh, come on, bro, you know, shaking it so rough in here." And I'll say to them, I'll say, "Look, the reason why I don't use that vernacular or I don't use that vocabulary is because I am better than that. I do not have to speak within a vernacular that's associated to those who are convicts in the moment or ex-convicts, because that's not where my mentality is anymore. Sure, I can identify as that person, but I have been successful.
You've raised your vibrations.
That's right. So when talking to somebody in that context and literally saying, this is why I'm doing this, what we end up doing is we're leading the change of behavior by example. Because like you and I, we just had a conversation earlier. Who do you want to learn from? The person that's going to teach you by or show you things by example, being in the trenches with you, or do you want to learn because somebody's been dictating to you how they supposedly had did something? What the fuck is that?
I want to hang out with people that are gonna ride with me and fight for the same fight that I'm fighting for to get it done. Like we're aiming for the same end result. I'm willing to do whatever it takes.
What do you want to be, a lion or a lamb? You know, and you are subjected to the people that are around you. So like, as difficult as this was, I mean, I get it. In early recovery, I was around a bunch of codependent sick fucks. And that's exactly what it is, because that's where we are. And we can actually draw strength on that. Today, do I still associate with those people? 100% I do. But are they in my personal circle? No. You know, because the people that are in my personal circle, I'm not saying that they're all alpha males, but they're all a lion. I mean, I want to be successful and succeed with people who are of like mind.
I posted this quote. A friend of mine shared it, and then I shared it on one of my business Facebook page and my personal one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to read it to you. Surround yourself with the dreamers and the doers, the believers and the thinkers, but most of all, surround yourself with those who see the greatness within you, even when you don't see it yourself.
Yeah.
Edmund Lee. I posted that today.
Yeah, it's a reality, right? Because sometimes there's another thing that I heard was like, the only person who can corrupt you is you. So like remember how we talked to you and I about showing yourself that you love yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this takes time to do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, why is that so important? Because if you can show that you're successful in loving yourself on a daily basis, everything else is going to be successful. And eventually you're going to like loving yourself. And once you start liking the love for yourself without being egotistical and without being maniacal and without being some narcissistic asshole because you attribute humility to that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Once you can understand those qualities, what's going to happen very rapidly is that success is going to be of the utmost importance in your life, and it's going to be respected. So if you can attain that or even find that in somebody else, because like we say this all the time to people who come into AA, look for the qualities that you don't have in yourself, that you see in other people that you want. And I bet you will get them if you work with that person.
Something I heard lately is you become the sum total of the 5 people you hang out with most.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. 100%. So like if I look at my board of directors that I hang out with, those are really my key guys, right? One of those guys is an ex-VP from Leadcore. You have any idea? So here in Canada, for Americans, Leadcore actually did the fiber optic cord across Canada next to CN and CPR. So CN is our Canadian National Railway, CPR is our Canadian Pacific Railway. This was a multi-million-dollar project. He also built Syncrude, so on and so forth. So to hang out with a guy like that, you would think that he's some fucking maniacal nutbag, right? He's not. He's actually one of the kindest businessmen I've ever met in my life. I mean, kind to a point where like...
But he's a lion.
Oh, for sure he is.
Yeah.
Because being a lion doesn't mean that you're not kind. What it means is that when it comes to us being a pride, so what's a pride? A pride is a bunch of lions together in a pack, Okay, that's what a bunch of lions is called. So when it's a pride together, we're together and we're ferocious against or to anybody who could be competition towards us, because the weak are the ones who shake, right?
Like, it doesn't even have to be competition. It could just be like, you know, you are a pride that is building a serious foundation. You know, like you're creating something, and you have to be aligned to create something and have it last.
Yeah, and you also like there are many definite characteristics,
In my opinion.
There are many different characteristics that attribute to what that is. But like I said, to have that person sitting across the table that's basically mentoring me and showing me how to do this is amazing. And like the contrast to that, I hang out with an archbishop in the Catholic Church. Okay, so the contrast to that is this: the guy has piety like you have no idea. Like he doesn't make money, he doesn't have money. I mean, he's got a stipend or whatever it is, like in that regard. But is he successful? 100%. Because every day he gets up and he is of service to the world in whatever way that he's of service to, and he loves doing what he does. So looking at that, and is he a lion? You betcha he is. And why is he a lion? Because he's passionate about the spiritual healing of the people that he can provide within his Catholic theology. Doesn't matter if you're Catholic or whatever it is. He's passionate about what he believes in, and he can contrast that to native spirituality, Buddhism, whatever it is, because he's able to talk upon the passion that he has. And this is what allows him.
He's contributing to the stream of life.
That's right. That's right.
I love that.
Well, and it's the truth. I mean, if you're depriving the world, guess what? There's a bunch of jails filled with those people. Those are the people who tried not to follow the law of giving to the world. I mean,
yeah, they're all take, no give.
We were all very successful at it at some point. Somehow, some way, we were successful financially
in certain ways,
but we were bankrupted emotionally, spiritually, and in every other way aside from the finances. We really bought or believed in the fact that finances could buy us love. And that wasn't the truth. And the reality of that was because of poverty. Poverty is what brought us there, in my opinion.
There was a few things. What do you do today to like make sure that you stay impeccable with your word? How do you maintain that, and what do you do to practice it? And what do you suggest for like our listeners?
So for me,
I can start doing it in their lives.
So what do you mean? Break down the context or unpack the word of your word. Like, what do you mean? Like the promise to myself?
No, like your vernacular, like how you choose to stay on top of it and be aligned with your words and be.
So I read.
Yes.
So I read a minimum of anywhere from 20 to 80 pages a day, and I'll read things like right now I'm reading Les Miserables, and then the next book that I have up on the deck after that is the Book of the Dead, like the Tibetan Book of the Dead.
Cool.
And then after that, I have Pride by Sebastian Junger, I think it is. That's a great book.
I'm reading
it's called Tribe.
I'm reading a classic right now by Wayne Dyer, The Sky's the Limit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got his like greasy mustache from like the early 90s on it. It's pretty funny.
And I should clarify this. So like this weekend, I'm doing a seminar for AA. So I do a big book study over 3 days, which is literally 165 pages worth of reading, studying, pulling out the things, the motivational pieces that are in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and utilize this in a functional way within our daily lives. I have done this seminar with people who are not alcoholics, and I've also done this seminar with people who are alcoholics, obviously. All have told me it's a very intense weekend, but the benefit to it is that it was profound within their emotional and spiritual well-being, and they realized that without action, both of those mean absolutely fuck all. Everybody has always said that, and they found the actionable pieces that come out of the AA Big Book in order to show themselves self-development through their own understanding of their creator, God, universe, whatever it is, as their higher power. And I reinforce this I usually do this seminar once a month minimum. Like I have 5 girls, 2 guys coming in through this weekend, and it's intense, but I love it. Like I'm taking Monday off, and I have I have today off. So Friday, this episode, I'll be off like on the Friday of this week, and I prepare. We start Friday evening and we go right to Sunday afternoon, late afternoon, and then I basically decompress on or debrief on the Monday afterwards.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a serious weekend, and it teaches people how to use all 12 steps in any facet of life, like the principle behind it to utilize it. Right. It's a great weekend. Yeah.
That's awesome, bro.
It's a lot of fun. What are you up to this weekend?
This weekend, I don't know. Last weekend I went to K-Days, the fair here. And
so explain that to people.
So K-Days is our fair, like where there's carnies and rides and games and.
How big is that?
Deep fried Mars bars and.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
How big do you think that thing is, like by square footage? Or square meters? I guess square meters.
I think it's probably 2 to 4 kilometers square, like either way.
Yeah, probably about that.
Yeah.
So like that's the size of West Edmonton Mall? No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Fuck.
I'd say it's probably about the size of West Ed.
Yeah, that's pretty big. Who's playing? You know the artists are. Who did you see?
There was like some hurtin' band there. I'm not too fond of. Maybe there's some listeners out there who might like it. Mariana's Trench. It's like some junior high poppy.
Okay.
Kind of whining voice.
Did you take the kids?
Yes, I bring my children, and we had so much fun.
Look at you, children.
My children, my lovely daughters.
Did they get to see the entertainment, so to say?
Oh yeah, like we did everything.
Did they know who it was?
Oh, I didn't even bring them to go watch the music because we were too busy playing games, going on rides.
So funny thing about that, I went and I played a show on Saturday night at an open mic here in town.
What?
Yeah. So I get
Why
up
didn't you
there.
invite me to this shit?
Well, because you were already going to your thing. I knew that you were going to your thing.
Okay.
So anyway, and you were with the kids and all that, right?
Okay, well, this weekend I'm free, but I don't want to go do the big book study.
I got the seminar.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm there, and like I'm not that old, man, but this fucked me up. So I get up there, and I'm a pro musician. Like shit you not. I've played in a studio. I know what I'm doing. Okay. So there was no sound. Because they just lost their soundboard. So couldn't plug in nothing. That's fine. I could play an acoustic set. So I get up there and I start playing my set, which the first song was The Weight by the band. Then I played My Girl, Nirvana or Leadbelly, whoever you want, right? Mm-hmm. And then the third one to that was Tobacco Road. Forget what they were called, the band.
You're gonna have to play for us one day on the show.
One day, maybe on a video. You can check out my Instagram, and there's videos there.
There you go.
So anyways, I'm playing this thing, and I thought like My Girl would have been a little bit relevant. I get off, and this little girl says to her mom, she says, "Why did he play all classic rock?" I was like, oh, fuck. I really dated myself, you know? And so she gets up there. What was she playing? Vance Joy. Because that's relevant, right? I had like nothing even remotely close to that. I'm playing like stuff that people redid in the early 90s and stuff. And I realized, fuck, that's 20 years ago. Yeah, I'm old. I'm getting old, man. I felt like an asshole. Total fucking asshole. Yep. That was a real...
You're getting wise.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. And I got one more experience that I'm pretty sure you're going to laugh at.
Okay, let's hear it.
So I have to build the context around this a little bit. So I met this girl Friday night that I knew from when I did my a case study. and she was giving me clients and stuff. And so one thing that I've recognized being a recovered addict is sometimes I don't understand or I don't see the social code that's happening. I call it Seinfeld moments. You know how like Seinfeld, they always used to like basically pick apart
You're just dating yourself again.
The politeness, you know, of what the social context is, right?
Yeah,
Okay. So sometimes I really misinterpret those things. Okay. So anyways, but this was a good interpretation. It was just us. It was friends, you know, and that's all it was. Then I met this other girl on before I played the set in the afternoon on the Saturday. And, you know, everything leading up to this was fine. So this is where it gets kind of screwy in my head, because the last interaction, I totally interpreted that correctly. It's platonic, you know? And then the next one, I met this girl Saturday afternoon. We're sitting there having cafe or whatever, right? And the time is done. We leave this cafe and we're standing outside and she goes to try to kiss me.
Oh, shit.
And I had no fucking idea that this was a date. So I kind of freaked out and I felt very, very awkward. And I said so right to her face. And I was like, I feel really awkward right now. I'm leaving. And I fucking hopped in the car and I left her standing at the curb, man. And I just walked off, right? So now to reinforce that I'm not an idiot, okay, is this. So on the Monday, I met the same girl from Friday, still platonic. Like I totally interpreted that relationship and that encounter completely correctly. Like it was totally platonic. But this mutant of a thing that happened on fucking Saturday, we're totally out to fucking lunch, man. Like she's standing there with her like her lips sticking out and shit and trying to kiss me and like trying to lean in with her hands around me. It was like, what in my head?
What in
I was
the
like,
actual fuck?
What the fuck is going on here? When did I tell her that I like her this way? Because this ain't happening. You know, like this is not happening. And I'll never, like I said, I literally just blurted out, I feel really awkward right now and I'm leaving, and her hands are still out, like trying to embrace me with a fucking, with that smoochy face, you know, trying to come. Yeah, it was pretty. So if you're listening to this and you're that girl, please don't take any offense to what I'm saying. I guess that just upped it by me saying don't take any offense, right?
Yeah, hate mail's coming.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, maybe I did misinterpret it, but the context all the way through was like, it was platonic, like the text messages, the messages that we did in order to plan this encounter. I haven't seen her again, and I don't think I can.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to.
Would you engage her again and like try to get to the bottom of that, or would you just leave it?
Depends on what I can get out of the relationship. Yeah, sometimes I'm a scumbag. But.
Yeah. I think we all can be, right? Like, especially guys, you know?
Well, like it's a give and take, right? Like I provide value to any friendship relationship that I have. So it's like, you know, if they could provide some value too, that'd be nice.
I mean, I think it's one of these things where you have to be the best person in order to have great relationships with people.
Yeah, you need to be the best person in order to have best people around you.
And you only have to be the best that you can be in order to keep achieving that and gaining. You know what I mean? Like those that like I said, back to that personal goal setting. Personal goal setting and the evolution of said such will also give you the evolution of friends around you. And it's not that you outgrow them. Either you grow together, moving towards whatever that is that you guys are personally moving towards, because the only bounty and bond that connects is the fact that you are all successful within your personal gains, right?
If you're not growing and learning, you're dying.
Like it's one of these things. Military vets, because they've seen action, okay? They get along with each other intuitively because of that. So they know that they can depend on each other in those contexts. So you and I, what I would suggest within our relationship is we know that if we ever had to do a bank robbery, we could probably count on each other. And the reality is of that is because we've probably been in situations where our adrenaline was so jacked that we were able to still maintain composure. And I'm using robbing a bank as a euphemism, but it's to distinguish or give you a picture in your mind of how high your adrenaline would be in that moment. And so from some of the things that you and I have gone through in life, this is why we have that intuitive bond or relationship based upon that experience. And
Post-traumatic stress disorder.
Could be.
Almost, right?
Yeah,
like
could
a
be.
form of.
However, we're utilizing that now in a positive way.
Yeah.
Right. So in that context, sure, we know that we can depend on each other in that way. But would I ever want to be back against the wall with somebody who's never been through some of the shit that we've been through? No, because I don't know the variable when that adrenaline jack happens.
I'm the best getaway driver.
So yeah. So let me ask you. You and I had a conversation earlier about like how I basically drop everything on people right off the bat. And then I said to you, I revealed myself saying, I do that so that I can see if you're a lamb or a lion.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So on your side, when I did that to you and we talked about life on life's terms, seriously, how did that feel to you when everything was being presented?
So I only had two small fears. Just two little itsy bitsy, like, is this possible? And I asked you that. And then you clarified it within like 3 sentences. And then as soon as like that was smoothed over, I said, this is an opportunity. Mm-hmm. I'm capitalizing on it. I will not pass. I'm going to take whatever opportunity life throws at me and make the best out of it.
Yeah. Because, and like the evaluation on my side is you didn't run. Because you and I have both, and we're not going to go into this, that, or the other thing. We're just talking about a situation. But you and I have both been in a meeting where we basically did the same thing, and we saw the guy squirm.
Oh yeah.
Now being able to see both sides of that, right? Do you see how that could benefit you as not a tactic, but a way to vet who's sitting in front of you, and would you use that to the best of your ability?
Well, it definitely helped me gain more awareness on how to structure like pitches or different business conversations or even like life conversations. And I know which type of people that I want to keep around me. Mm-hmm. And the person that's solution oriented and goal oriented, that's the person. Not somebody that's going to like find all the problems and the potential flaws in said idea.
I think it's fine to be pragmatic, and pragmatism is great as long as you know that you're solution and goal orientated. It's fine to find where it could all fall apart. That's fine, but don't leave it like if you find a problem with your business or whatever it is, and you say, fuck it, I'll deal with it tomorrow. No. You need to make sure that you walk away from that with a solution that's goaled towards circumventing that issue. And if you can't on your own, you need to go and call somebody who you know is solution orientated
to coach you through it.
To coach you through it. And even if it doesn't seem like it can work for you, go and do his suggestion anyways. And if it doesn't work, what have you really lost? The fact of the matter is you got your head around another way of thinking because they gave you a prescribed solution.
Feel the fear and do it anyways.
Yeah. I think that's a huge benefit. And I've always learned that, like, people say, oh, you inundate people with all this information. That's because I'm trying to scare the shit out of you. It's a difference if I'm working with you and I'm trying to work with you in a context of let's get along together and create a merger. That's a different context because now we're going to talk about exact deliverables between each other.
Yeah.
And this is the same thing as a relationship. When you're talking about a relationship, you're talking about deliverables between two people. That has to happen, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's a merger. But when you're talking about, let me mentor you through this, this is where you drop the hammer. Because if this person is not willing, I mean, Joe Rogan said this, and I say this all the time in recovery. You want my kind of recovery? You want what I have? I start laughing because I understand how much work and how difficult and adversity you're going to have to face in order to get this. So I'm open. The book is open. I'm willing to do it all. But are you willing to get up at 6:30 in the morning and jump rope for 20 minutes with sweat running down your face and you only had 4 hours of sleep because maybe the hamster wheel was running a little bit last night? You know, are you willing to do that? Because I am. And if you're willing to do that, then you're part of that pride. You can be a part of that, like that pride that me and some of my other lions and the pride that I associate with, that's what we have every day.
Absolutely. I'm willing to go further than that.
I mean, I think I think that's what it takes, though, right?
Oh yeah. Like you have to have that like attitude where you have a goal, you have an idea. No matter what hurdle you have to jump, you're jumping it, or you're climbing over it.
Yeah.
You will get there eventually, and nothing will deter you. Like,
yeah. One of the other things that I've seen, like I've mentored or sponsored many men. Okay, and this is the other thing that bites my ass. This has bitten my ass fucking many times. Someone will come to me and they'll say, "This is the problem," and I'll give them a solution. This is the solution.
Unsolicited feedback.
Yeah. Here you go. Go do this and come back and tell me that it was wrong. Because I'm telling you, and I know this is going to sound really strange of me to say this, and people are not going to agree with me. But I'm telling you on an outside perspective, people from the outside and have no selfish need or manipulation towards you are going to be honest with you about how to solve your problem. If you go and decide to do the exact opposite of the solution that they had provided you as a suggestion, what in the fuck? Why did you waste my time? Don't come to me and say, this is the problem, help me with the solution, and then you don't even try the suggestion. I don't give a fuck how out of the world it seems. Maybe this isn't the first rodeo that I've been in. Maybe I'm suggesting something out of experience, and I'm saying, this is the way that this is going to go. Do you really need me to define to you what it's going to feel like standing in that position while you're going through it? Or are you just going to show me a little bit of persistence and some faith and go and fucking do what I just suggested to go and do? Because I know it works. I failed before. Learn from the things that I succeeded and failed at, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I could tell you that pimping is great money, but it's not a longevity business plan. You know what I mean? Like that's from my success. That's from our success and failures episode, right? I can tell you the business plans that I've had that failed and why they failed, regardless if it was criminal or not. I can show you the pinpoints of what that is. So if you're asking me for some advice, don't waste my time by saying, "Yeah, thanks. I'm not going through with that." Fuck you then. That's the way how I see that. Fuck it. Don't call me next time you have an issue. Like you're gonna be on the fucking pay no mind list, you know?
Well, like with personal training, if somebody really wants advice,
yeah,
that'll be $100. That'll be $200 because if I got to take the time and break it down for you, go through the kinetic chain, proper movements and mobility, stability, and keep everything right to like fix an issue that they have with, say, their scapula movement or scapula winging, which is an issue.
Yeah.
So it'll fuck everything else up too.
Yeah.
Then, take my solicited advice. Take it. Do it. Because if you don't do it, your injury is going to stay.
Yeah. Why are you paying me? Like if you're not going to listen to what I'm saying and you're paying me, why are you paying me? You see what I'm saying? Like you're here to sign up for this.
What's his name? It'll come back to me. Keep going.
So I don't really, like at this moment, I don't charge for mentoring. I see it as I'm contributing to the stream of life, as we had talked about before.
Bob Proctor. Bob Proctor's mentor said, you can come learn from me and I'll teach you everything I know. But the second that you don't take my advice and do what I tell you, you are no longer my mentee.
Yeah. You know who's good at that? You ever hear of a guy named Dan Pena?
Kind of rings.
Go look that guy up. That guy? Fuck, I was on a Dan Pena kick for a long time. He's a no bullshit, no nonsense guy. He was on JRE, and that's all he does, actually, is just mentor mentees. This guy turned $800 into, I think, $50 million in 2 years in the oil and gas industry. Unfucking real. I'm serious. Look it up. Dan Pena. He also killed a bear with his bare hands.
Shut the fuck
I'm not kidding you. I'm not even joking. Yeah. He killed it with a fucking So listen to this. This guy was talking about he was supposed to go into Vietnam. Okay, and he goes, the pricks. Literally, this is. I'm not saying it verbatim, but it's close to what he said. He's like, the pricks went and closed Vietnam 2 weeks before he could fucking kill somebody and get over there. Like that's his mentality, right?
Wow.
But he's actually a really nice guy. Like, you listen to the things that he says. He just doesn't have he's got a no bullshit personality.
The John Wayne syndrome.
But he's fucking John Wayne.
But he is
Like he's not putting on a persona.
the Duke.
Yeah. Like, he said he had to relearn how to drive a vehicle because he hasn't driven in the last 38 years. He's always had a driver because I was working from going to A to B, B to C. I was always working.
Yeah.
But he's like, my job is not working. I like doing what I do. It's just what I do. What my service that I provide this earth pays me money. That's what it is now. I earn it after the service that I've given. I also heard this a little while ago was, however much you suffer in the beginning is going to be directly related to how much you earn once your success is realized. That's pretty nuts, right? Like we know that we're successful already. That's great. And I hope that the listeners also feel that way. We know how successful we are. And then all of a sudden we earn money because others understand the value of that success that we've already turned out. But the sacrifice that you have gone through while providing the success day in, day out is going to be directly related to the proportion that you earn in the end, which is phenomenal. So you look at a guy like, I don't know, let's say Bill Gates. Bill Gates
Nelson Mandela.
Yeah. Well, Nelson Mandela was stealing cash too. Like, let's face it. For sure he was. That's going to get me some fucking hate mail. For sure that is. Totally. But my point about a guy like Bill Gates, he ate, I think, ramen noodles for 4 years solid, creating Windows with Steve Jobs, and then finally their relationship departed, so to say. Yeah. And now look at Bill Gates today. I mean, most millennials don't even know that he was the founder of fucking Microsoft. They just think that he's some philanthropist with money, and they have no idea how he got that money, right? I mean, it's pretty wild. I think that's pretty fucking crazy. Did you say what you're doing this weekend? What are you doing this weekend?
This weekend I have left open, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm going to fly by the seat of my pants this weekend and just try to create value and get some serious shit done.
Can I make a suggestion?
Absolutely.
Wherever you go publicly, let's take a bunch of pictures on Instagram.
Okay.
So plug your Instagram right now so that our listeners, because this is going to be out Friday, right?
Yeah.
So the listeners can follow you this weekend through your Instagram.
My Instagram is Kenny_Cantrell. So KENNY_CANTRILL.
Excellent. That's going to be great. I'm a shut in this weekend, but I'm sure there's always crazy shit that comes out of these big book studies, man. Like there's always some pretty fucking wild stuff.
There's gonna be some baggage. You're gonna feel like a bag of deep fried dicks on Monday.
I don't really like that. I've learned a lot of detachment. Like I'm not even really there. It's like the shit like that guy who called me from the bar saying, I don't know what you said to me, bro, but but I'm saved.
I'm cured.
Yeah, I'm cured. I found a cure. Oh yeah. What's that? Like that will happen this weekend for sure.
Yeah, keep going with that. Say it again. I like that.
So the guy was like, I'm cured. And I was like, yeah. And he was basically sitting in the bar and he's like, yeah, man, you did such a great job. I was able to order, I had a couple drinks and I was able to walk away. I was like, yeah, okay. And then he's like, it worked so well that he was going to go to another bar and do the experiment again. And I was like,
because he didn't end up on the floor pissing himself.
Yeah.
He's not an alcoholic anymore because
he's not,
he's just going to go bar hopping for the rest of the night.
I mean, bar hopping just saved his world, right?
Hit a liquor store on the way home.
There was another time where I brokered a deal for a guy to get back in his house with his wife.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'll be right back. And he goes upstairs to take a piss. And he'd been hiding bottles of vodka in the tank
of the toilet.
Of the toilet, right? So he comes downstairs and now he's like falling down the stairs. And as an alcoholic, right? I'm looking at this and I'm like, he's more intoxicated. Like clearly he's way more intoxicated. And he's like, I'm ready to go now. And I'm like, what? Where are you going to go? And he's like, I'm going to your house. I was like, what the fuck? Like, why did I just broker this deal for you back into your wife's? And he finally admitted it. Well, there's a bottle of booze in the toilet, and that's all I was coming back here for. I was like, what Holy the fuck? like the lengths that we go to drink, right? Yeah. So I do want to say this. Thanks to all the listeners. I've been checking out geographically where you are, and I can't believe that there's a guy in fucking Indonesia.
Shout out to the guy in Indonesia.
That is crazy, right? I mean, that's crazy.
Add me on Instagram.
Yeah, I think it's Ratalong. That's it. It's Ratalong. I'm pretty sure that's who it is. Ratalong. Maybe I shouldn't have did that on the podcast.
That's okay, we'll get you some followers.
Yeah, fuck it. I mean, it was really cool that I saw that. I'm pretty sure it's him. And then shout out to the guys down in America, man. You guys are like amazing.
Us Canucks are a wee bit fucked, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I was really surprised to see that there was there's more Americans listening than there is Canadians, which is fantastic, and I appreciate every single one of them. I think anybody listening to this podcast is definitely geared towards success, and they're trying to motivate themselves or live vicariously through that, right?
Yeah, well, we've made some serious changes in our lives and totally did a 180 now. Where we were.
Especially from where it was. And I think that this whole idea with life on life's terms and the concept that we're coming out with is going to be pretty neat. I mean, I don't think anybody else has really looked at it as in like you bring what you bring, I bring what I bring. And the next person that comes in, when we bring another creator in eventually, they're going to bring what they bring into this table. You know what I mean? And I think it's all just value from all of us from coming from different walks of life.
Just trying to contribute to the stream of life.
Yeah, exactly. Right. To the best of our abilities. Yeah. So next week we've got your part 3 coming out.
Yeah. So we're going to talk from age 25 to where I'm at today.
Excellent.
Yeah. In my mid-20s, I was in the depths of a struggle still, and now I've surfaced and am making huge headway. So
let me ask you. So I know you and I touched on this a little while ago. And I'll just kick off the context in this regard. When I did the bio, when I did my bio, the shit that kind of came up, as much as I've dealt with a lot of that stuff through working the steps and the stuff that I've done in order to deal with my trauma, I realized two things in once. I was grateful for the fact that I dealt and have accepted and forgave. But I also realized how it was just a movie. Like, I know it was all real, but it's not who I am anymore. Like I could literally see a separation from then to now
Oh, I got to touch on this.
Yeah.
So bringing up those on my bio, the stories and the memories, they bring up the emotions again as I was talking about them.
Yeah.
And I felt those emotions for a little while after too. And although I'm past them and I have forgiven and I've moved on and I've learned from the experiences, I know now just from like studying and reading that our bodies cannot tell the difference between real life action, like right here and now, and the imagined thought. So every time we like relive those memories in the past, it has the same physiological impact on our body chemically.
That's that implicit memory thing.
Yeah. So that was cool because that gave me that realization. But what I had to do to change that, because brain cells that fire together wire together, and when you have the same like thoughts and emotions all the time, like say like when you bring up that we would rob a bank together because we've been there. We used to live at super high levels of adrenaline all the time. We were addicted to that. We were chemically addicted to that shit.
For sure.
So what I had to do was literally create a new identity to grow.
Okay.
So in the past, like the criminal lifestyle, it was very egoic. And I know lots of people have theories about ego, saying like Eckhart Tolle and even Wayne Dyer, they would say that ego is bad. All ego is bad. It's my perception, my belief, because it works for me right now, that you cannot fully escape the ego. There is always some sort of identity that you base your actions off of, whether that's a philanthropic or whether that's of criminal nature. And what I had to do was create a new identity, like a new ego, that I do good things, that I do what's proper, that I do what's beneficial for myself and humanity. And upon shifting my intentions, it snowballed rather quickly.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that the struggle isn't anywhere near what it used to be.
Yeah.
Living as a gangster was hard, man. Like,
It is.
It was painful. It was actually like, it was really painful.
I mean, I think so. One of the things that like, so I'm a little bit different in the context of ego. I see ego as a negative towards self-esteem, because I believe that self-esteem is hard earned, and earned in the context of setting up goals, so on and so forth, knowing. And then so when I look at ego, I find that that's easy. But where I understand you is this. I had a difficult time. So I've said this before, where I didn't know what I felt like. So when I was in treatment, what I would do is they would give me like a page of like smiley faces, sad faces, and all this stuff, right? And because I didn't understand emotion at that time, I would look at that piece of paper and then look at myself in the mirror and try to catch what emotion I was showing. Because I was pretty fucked up, right? And then what I had realized through counseling, what my counselor had suggested to me was that write down who you want to be.
Yeah.
So I wrote down who I want to be, and then I went and showed him, and he goes, "Is this possible? Can you be this person?" And I said, "Well, I don't know." And he goes, "You can be whatever you want to be if you decide that that's what you want to be." So like when you were saying that you had to come up with another, I would suggest this word, persona, in order to fit it. And one of the catchphrases, and you probably won't agree with it, but just so that we can broaden this example, is some people will say it's a fake it till you make it. So you play that role out until you make it.
I'm a firm repper of fake it till you make it.
So, and then what I've so I think you and I'm just going to say this. I hate doing this, but I'm going to do it anyways. So on the 15th of August, you and I are sitting down. That's my 5-year birthday.
Whoop, whoop.
So we're going to do that episode together, you and I, for that week. So anyways, what I have come to understand over this time, okay, of finding out who I am, what I have come to understand, going back and looking at what I wrote at that time from treatment, and I look at myself today, the person that I wrote down was definitely who I wanted to be. And none of it was based around anything financial, anything of that nature.
It was all like skills and
Wasn't even skills. It was mostly emotions.
oh
I wanted to be kind. I wanted to be loving. I wanted to be caring. Okay. All these things. So now when I look at that stuff, before I had to really work at being able to exemplify those things. Okay. Cause I didn't know how to love. I really didn't, because I didn't know how to love myself, right?
yeah.
Now, as hard off as I may have sounded, like this lion stuff and all this stuff, I'm sure even you would say I'm probably one of the most caring people that you'll ever meet in your life. I really care about people.
Yeah.
And so how did that happen? That's because one could say faking it till you make it, and I agree to that, but all of a sudden it becomes you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so once it becomes you, now when I'm looking at that old thing that I wrote to what it is today, I see that as a movie now.
Yeah, you've surpassed it.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And now when I write things like I don't do the characteristic thing anymore, because now what I perpetuate is on real-time goal setting, achieving those so that I can reinforce the love for myself on a daily.
I have a similar experience with that too. I use I write down 101 wishes for myself.
Oh, okay.
And the first time I did it, a good 65-70% of it was like skills, character traits, emotional stability, to always be in a state of love, to always help people, to always do the next right thing.
Yeah.
And I wrote that like about a year and a half ago. And I went through it last week, and I crossed off a whole whackload of shit that, achievements that I wanted to get and do, and things I wanted to create. Like, it really panned out for me. Just like, so right now, sitting in front of me right now, I have another one that I've started, another 101 wishes of things. And this one has a lot more goal-oriented things as well. Like, I want to be in top 40 under 40 of our Avenue local Avenue magazine.
Yeah. I mean, I think what we'll do, because you know what? I think what we'll do, Kenny, is maybe that could be an exercise that you and I, instead of doing, people do like, New Year's resolution?
Yeah.
Come next year's season, you and I will start off with that. And then we'll go for the whole year around it. And then what we'll do, and I invite any of the listeners to start thinking now about, and we'll keep encouraging you and reminding you every 30, 60 days or something that this is coming up. And then instead of, because let's face it, New Year's resolutions fucking utterly fail for like a majority of people, okay? And this may be a new concept. And then what we'll do is, for those subscribed listeners, we'll continue this for that inner circle that decides to be a part of the circle, so to say.
Yeah, well, you know what? I encourage anybody to grab a piece of paper and write at the top 101 wishes, and just as wishes come to you, make sure you go throw them down on the paper, because you're not going to be able to punch it out in one sitting.
You
will not be able to punch out 101. Like, it took the first time I did it took me like 10 days.
Yeah.
It was a big test of like self-worth. You know what I mean? I had to, am I really worthy of that first, right?
You know what's really cool about it too is, like, remember how we keep on reinforcing that your personal goals mean way more than any successes that you can have through like possession or any of those things, like capital. One of the things that I increasingly see is that it's really the emotions and the stability that we all crave. We want to be that, and we think that finances, like, it's so fucked up. We all believe that the things that we buy are of value. Everything you buy is not of value. It's all throwaway shit.
Yeah.
The stuff that's of value is your soul. The stuff that's of value is your self-worth, your respect. All of these things that have been freely given to you are the things that are worth something, that are really worth something. That you can buy a car tomorrow and lose that. When you die, it's gone. It means nothing. It means nothing in this point of life,
the lives that you affected in a positive manner. And that's what means a lot.
We used to say the ripple effect that you create. And if you want to be, and I don't give a shit if you agree or whatever it is, it's simply looking at a person as a bio. You look at the ripple effect that Jesus Christ has had. Nothing in this world can say that he murdered somebody, because that's not the depiction that's been written about either if you believe that it's a said fabled character or if it's an actual character in life. There is nothing ever negative that has came of Christ as we know of Christ. So in saying that, still today, that ripple effect is still felt within his presence. Sure, it's been manipulated and turned into negative uses, so on and so forth. But the reality of who the person is that they're writing about is Jesus Christ. There is no ripple effect that he created or that character created that was negative. The essence of it was positive all the way through, right? So, I mean, if that's the goal that you're going after, well, sometimes you need that idol, so to say, to kind of mentor you and model you. And I have not gone wrong by thinking to myself, okay, well, if I'm going to imitate anybody, that's who I want to imitate. No matter, like, sure, I'm Catholic, but I don't care if you're Catholic, Christian, or whatever you are. The fact is you're trying to imitate the bio of what that character, or if that character is a real person for you, that's what you're trying to imitate in life. Because nobody can say anything negative about Christ himself. You can say negative things about the institutions that have been created from Christ. Fine. I mean, Catholics killed many people. I mean, regardless. And I'm not going to go into the whole religion thing. But the reality is this: Christ himself, whatever the bio is and whatever your thoughts are of Christ, it's positive. Like, he didn't go and slit somebody's throat. Christ never did that.
Yeah, well, you want to create your personality like the person that you want to be most like, and your personality creates your personal reality.
And again, if you want to tie a lion back to Christ, I don't know anybody who is as fearless as Christ, really. I mean,
that motherfucker busted up the system. He fought for what was right.
It's crazy. Like when you look at it, just as a story of it, right? Yeah. Like I don't care if you believe in the religious philosophy or not, or whatever it is. It's just the story of it. One could only highlight that and be like, if there's anybody that doesn't have any scruples, I mean, let's face it, one of the reasons, and I'm going to be straight up with our listeners here, because I think this is a point of honesty that I love being transparent about. Why did I do my bio? So that you guys know the worst things that I've ever done in my life. This way, by you guys basically endorsing this show, I can tell you right now that nothing is coming up from my past where somebody can say, no, that guy is really bad. You know, you guys don't know. He wasn't really honest with you. I can stand firm in saying that everything bad that I've ever done, anything of negative from my past, I have been completely 100% transparent about with the audience. Also protecting those that I have done things with that should not be implicated in the things that I have done. I've confessed all of me to you, but I have not said things that I've done things with other people about, because it's not my intention to implicate somebody who really doesn't need to be implicated. They're not in the same place as me. They haven't asked for forgiveness. They haven't done some of the things that I've done, and maybe they're still living in a lifestyle that's not conducive towards positivity. I don't know, but I'm not going to implicate somebody. And I think that's the same thing for you, because I mean, when we sat down, that's kind of what I had said to you. You want to tell our listeners everything, because if anything comes up to bite you in the ass later on, you know, it's a raking over the coals. you know? And it's not an ego thing about talking about the shitty things that we've done. It's about showing our listeners the transparency and honesty that we're willing to not just say, we're willing to attribute, we're willing to practice and exemplify to the best of our ability in a real-time moment with them.
Yeah, we're going to be honest and bare our soul so we can provide value.
Yeah, I mean, that's how we lead to the stream of life, right? So imagine that. This is over an hour. Shit.
Woo woo.
Yeah. So I like you all to tell everybody about this show and hit that subscribe button and come check us out at the Patreon page. So I'm gonna go through the the closing of the show.
All right, give me 2 seconds. I just want to let you know, if you guys are listening to this, I really appreciate you. And please comment and like shoot us messages so that we can provide more for you, and we can like kind of tailor certain things in the direction. Maybe you have a problem that you're going through. Maybe we have a solution for you, or some answers, or maybe a possible direction to point you in to kind of ease your pain.
100%. 100%.
Also, add me on Instagram.
Yeah.
Kenny Cantrell. Kenny_Cantrell.
And I think mine's just 967.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. Just 967. So I'm gonna do. What the hell did our guy say? He said something like, "Car crash, whiplash, knee cash. Call Liam Connolly at Connolly Law." Shit, you're not. Yeah. So Google Liam Connolly for all of your will and estate issues, as well as social media. He's a great lawyer, and he can definitely get you out of a jam. That's for sure. If you can also go to our Patreon page and support Southside Boxing Legion, it would be much appreciated. 100% of your donations will be given to this not-for-profit. Please donate today to that organization to help a child box tomorrow. So why is it that you want to be a patron to our Patreon page? Well, we don't have to do as many advertisements. That's one of the benefits. And you will also get content early. These shows are pre-recorded, but they are never edited. And you will also be able to contribute about guests coming on the show. This is also where we do our mailbag. So you'll be able to basically, these comments that Kenny was talking about, they'll actually get on the air, you know, and we will type back to you on the Patreon page. As well as being a patron, it'll cost you 3 Canadian coffees a week, $5 a week, in order to get these subscription rights that we will give you time and time again. I'd also direct you to come and check out our website, which is linked in any of the places that you can get this content. I thank you for listening on this Friday. It's been a beautiful, beautiful day, and I hope wherever you're at, you're having a wonderful day as well.
Have a good weekend, y'all.
Bye for now.